Welcome to Tamsguitar.com, and in this video we are going to take a look at soloing ideas in minor blues. So this is for the beginners who have started out, and this is also a review video for one of our students. And before I get started, I would like to assess the playing of someone who has sent me his video, and this is kind of the same problem we all face as beginners. We know the shapes and we are lost. So what are the problems we are going to discuss first, and then get into the ideas which you can use to improve your playing. So let us take a look at this video. As you can see here, the problem is the phrasing, the timing, and techniques. So these three things we are going to talk about in order to just get started in your soloing. Three things are timing. So what I mean by timing is you need to follow when the chord changes. You have to follow the chord changes, and also you have to play in rhythm. So this covers the time. And second is phrasing. It's a pentatonic shape, and you cannot just go on running around wild. You have to make some melodies out of these shapes. And number three is technique. So the techniques will get you to playing proper vibrato bends and all. So I'll give you some ideas. So this guitar is tuned half step down, and before I begin, the backing track we have used for this is in the link below. This is by Quist. It's a beautiful backing track. You can check out the backing track, and big thumbs up for Quist for creating such a beautiful backing track. And this is an E minor, but since my guitar is tuned half step down because I'm using a heavy gauge, it will bend my neck if I tune in standard tuning. That's why my shapes will be F minor pentatonic, and I have intentionally used this guitar. I have another guitar which is standard tuned in standard pitch rather. But here, if we learn the ideas in F, it'll give you a lot of ideas, and it will help you to break out from the common shapes like A minor and E minor, which most of the guitar players learn and guitar players play. So let us break away from that. So you can tune your guitar half step down and follow the lesson. So I would like to begin by talking about the backing track. The chords are written there. So if you play the backing track, you can see. So let us understand the backing track first and then get into the soloing. So it starts like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Second bar going on, third bar, E minor, fourth bar, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the fifth bar, sixth bar, back to E minor, again back to E minor only. 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it changes the turnaround. B. So basically it's a 12 bar blues, and with respect to our tuning, it starts with F minor. So the chords will be if you are playing F blues, F minor blues, F minor or F minor 7, then it goes to, after F you have B flat minor. So these are the 1 and 4 chords. So the progression goes like this, 1 chord first, it goes to 4 chord, it comes back to one chord. So it's a 12 bar blues, so you have to follow there's 12 chords basically, or 12 bars. So 1 4 1. So when I say 1, you need to think of F minor, okay? And when I say 4, you need to think of B flat minor. And here in this key, the fifth chord is C. And they are doing one thing, before coming to C, they are taking a flat 6 major chord. Alright, so instead of playing only C, he's approaching the C from half step above. So C sharp, C. So once again I'll tell you the chord progression. 1 4 1, again 1, again 4, again 4, back to 1, 1, and now the turnaround, C sharp, to C, back to 1. So in total there are 12 chords. And the thing to do here is, when the backing track is going on, you should visualize the chord changes and count in your head. So here each chord is going to last for the duration 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Alright? So keep track of this groove in your head. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. See, you listen to a hi-hat, not a hi-hat, it's a cymbal. So it gives you the indication, it comes back to the beginning of the progression. So after this 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So then again it starts. So this is your one cycle, and you have to memorize this and keep it going in your head. And now let's begin. I'll give you some basic exercises which you can work on. Alright, so what I was doing here, I'm not thinking of anything else, I'm just trying to get the time right. Okay, so with the track, I'm just playing the pentatonic scale up and down. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. And you can play in different patterns. This is exercise 1, and exercise 2 is you can mix the shapes, or maybe let us stay in one position. So I am playing patterns like in triplets in group of 3. So I'll start with one note. You won't have to start with the root note. You can start here also with the 4th. So you play from here first 3 notes and start from the next note now. Then start from the next note. So each group of three starts from a particular note, and the next group of three starts from the next note in the scale. So I start here, I've already started from here, then I'll start from the next note and move ahead, ascend three notes, and then again. And similarly, you have to do. Alright, so you can practice your sequencing patterns. There are innumerable patterns. Start basic, and now let us get into some ideas. Let us find some licks here. So here you have to think of something. This is a very common concept in blues, question and answer thing. So for example, you start with a lick and extend the lick with some kind of a similar lick, but these two are not exact same. As if the first one is a question, then there is an answer to it. For example, if I start like this, so it's pretty simple, So here I am using the 13th, 15th, 13th, 15th on the 4th and the 3rd string. Okay. And when I'm reaching the 15th, I'm playing a bend. So now, as we have seen in the video, he was playing the bends, but his bends were not right. So you have to work on the bends. So how you are going to practice your bending? You have to know, what kind of bend it is first. Is it a whole step bend? Is it a half step bend? Or is it a minor third bend? So let us keep it simple. Let us talk about whole step and half step only. So here, if you are playing a whole step bend, and you need to remember these positions, because the bends that we are doing is basically based on the scale shape. So the next shape is. So the next note is here, which is a whole step apart from the 15th fret on the 3rd string, that is 17th fret. So if I can bend it half step, because for this case, this is the flat 5, which we are going to use the blues note basically. But for the time being, so you have to slide and check whether you are bending in pitch or not. And the rule of bending is basically, with one finger it's not possible. So you need to have support of multiple fingers, either 2 or 3. And what we do, mostly with the help of the first finger, we don't take any support, because if we grab the string and if we bend, then what happens, the string gets over your finger, which will create a noise if you do it like this. Alright, so the way I keep my first finger, I tend to put it lightly over the string above, so that it doesn't get inside over my string, my nails doesn't get inside the string above. Okay, so see, I'm lightly keeping it. So the thing to practice is, and when we are playing a bend or a slide, generally vibrato gives it a bluesy vibe, vocal like. So once I bend it, I try to give it a vibrato, which is initially difficult, I can understand, but you need to learn these techniques in order to make your solos sound good. So this lick you can use. I'm bending it up, and bring it back, but after bending it up to the pitch, I am, muting the string so that I don't hear this. I don't want this sound. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just want the vibe to be like this. I can do multiple bends. Same thing when I'm bending it up, I'll cut the delay off so that it doesn't interfere. And if we extend this lick, so basically the notes are, but here whenever we are approaching the flat third, here there's a common tendency, where you can apply a quarter step bend, so it gives a good vibe. You can arrange the notes the way you like, but these are the things you can apply. And you have to be very careful with the quarter step bend, otherwise it will sound funny. This is not something you want. So what happens? Whenever it's going to the pitch you hear, then stop the note. Alright, so only these few notes can create a hell lot of possibilities. And now, if you want to add a slide to it instead of the bend, so I just slide from the 15th to the 17th fret and come back to the 13th fret and quarter step bend. Alright, so only 4 notes, creating a lot of sounds. So if I start the lick with this is a question, and then it's followed by, I can start the lick same. See, in one position, with one set of notes, you're getting so many ideas. So let's now apply this. The 4 chord going on. Back to 1 chord. Now the turnaround. So the turnaround is always special. I'm not going to get into too much theory. I'm just think of some phrasing rather than approaching it with some motive. I don't remember what I played before, but what you can do is like this. Now again, you have to identify the places where you can bend. It's basically very simple, the border of the two shapes. So here, when you are thinking of the shape 2, the second note of shape 1 is basically first note of shape 2. So before bending, you can just check. So here basically we are bending the flat 7 to the root. That is the 16th fret on the second string. Same thing as we have learned, the bending technique. Bend it up and mute it and bring it down. And pick this note. Give it a vibrato. So while doing vibrato, it's basically a movement like this. Use your wrist. Alright, so rock the string back and forth like this. So instead of playing the notes in this order, I have just changed the order. So now let us apply this lick in the progression, It can work anywhere. We'll see and we'll adjust accordingly. phrasing pretty simple. So, and now instead of bending it normally, we can use a pre-bend for the third string 15th fret. So pre-bend is a bit tricky. Pre-bend is basically forward slide like this, and pre-bend is like this. So you bend it up and then bring the note down. So you reach the target pitch before you pick in pre-bend, and in normal bend you pick and then reach the target pitch. So you have to be careful, you need to practice. The fingers will get to know eventually how much to bend because you don't have any reference. After you bring it back, you pull it off to the 13th fret 3rd string and end on the root note. So this is the template we are going to work on. We have to reach the root note most of the time. So, and you have to get back to the root note in such a way that it sounds musical. So this is the target. And now I'll give you some ideas, like you can play some runs, which can be a sequencing patterns like. Alright, so see, I'm reaching my root note, so you need to know this basics, of the shapes, which notes are in the shape where. Then the things will be more easy for you to recognize, and then you'll be able to play what you'd like to play rather than your fingers running wild on the fretboard. So this is how you can practice this, and I'll share some ideas more. Let's see. See, I'm just in one position, I'm trying to get a lot of sounds, and one thing, if you notice, I kept on coming back to the root note. And now let us talk a little bit about, playing the same thing in different positions. For example, this thing you need to work on your own. I'm just giving you ideas. The way we have selected this. Similarly, you can select some other position like the third shape and identify the root. So in this shape, we have to identify the root note. So this shape is like this. Everybody knows. The second string we have root and the fifth string we have root. Alright, and now you can apply ideas. Alright. trying to apply a lot of techniques and all. I'm just feeling the time here. So you can create some short runs, work on it. Don't play randomly, just fix a few things. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing basically descending the shape. 8, 6 on the first string, 9th and 6th on the second string. So there's a rhythmic vibe. Ta da da ta. I'm not playing. Then I'm starting from the 9th on the second string to the 6th. Same 4-note reverse pattern. And then I'm playing it here. The 8th fret, 3rd string, and back to the root. So and if we start using this rhythmic pattern, in the chord progression, you can use it with any chord. Let's see how it sounds, because you have to make a lot of mistakes in order to find the right spot. And then you can start creating your solos. But one thing to remember, whenever we are practicing basic things, we shouldn't leave the aspect of time. We should follow the chord changes and the rhythm pattern. Sorry for the buzzes. So here you can use hammer-ons. This is one more technique which we can think of. So just visualize the shape, and here's the root note. So from flat 3 to 4 I'm doing hammer-on and pull-off. So it's a group of 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. So from 6th to 8th, hammer on and then pull off back to the 6th, and ending in the root. So using the same idea, you can apply on different set of strings, because there is only 2 notes to visualize per string, and you can fix a target. For example, I want to get back to the root note and apply this lick, so that you have a multiple sound option. So just the idea is simple, yet it's giving you so many sounds. I'm applying the hammer on pull off on the first string and then ending on the root. So I'll be doing the same thing for many strings, Doesn't really matter which string I'm doing, but I'll get back to the F note on the second string. See, it's giving a different vibe. So it's a bit difficult if you are doing it on the 4th string and reaching out to this note, but nothing to worry, we have the root note on the 5th string. So let us apply this idea. It might not be super musical, but it will open up doors for you. How you practice and develop it, and then we can mix it up, this idea and some other ideas. So then the things will start getting solidified. So this is the last idea I'm going to give, and in the next video probably I'll come back with some more ideas, some runs, and the minor third bend and the blues note. Anyway, let's see how we can use this idea. It doesn't need to be too musical. Let's see how it works. Alright, see, once you start mixing simple ideas, music will start coming, and the more time you spend on phrasing, it'll get better. And before I finish, I would like to request you to visit my websites tamsguitar.com and musiccircle.in. The links are below, and if you are looking for guidance, you can join our classes in Kolkata and Pune or via Skype. It doesn't really matter where you are. So let's finish it off with the outro solo, and I hope you like it, and I'll see you soon in some other video.